Hi everyone, I hope you're all good today. This is Sunday, the 26th of January, as you can see, quite late in the evening, but just finished some tweaks to my mobile dashboard. So I've set it up here in Google Chrome, mimicking what the iPhone 14 Pro Max in this case would look like. So what you can see here is it's got, as my previous video, we've got some information here. And what you can see is some of the homepage here. So you've got a family section at the top, you've got floors, ground, first, outdoors, etc. And then you can see here we've got some useful bits of information like room cards. So these room cards here are shortcuts to room specific information. So on the card here, you can see that I've got multiple things going on. So I've got the name of the room, I've got a icon, a larger icon in the center. I've got a small icon in the top right. And then I have an attribute pulling through from a temperature sensor in the room. So lots of information just on a glance that you can have a look at before you dive into the actual room specific information. So what you're seeing here is you'll notice that some of the icons, in this case the dining room, as I've mentioned in the previous video, is grey, whereas this lounge icon is green. So what does that mean? So the grey ones are denoting that there's no rooms, no doors, excuse me, in the rooms to the external part of the house. Whereas in these rooms, lounge, kitchen, utility, hallway, etc., the master and the garage all have externally facing doors that could be accessed from the outside to get into the property. So I've chosen to display their status on the cards where appropriate. So what you can see here is on the lounge, I've got a back door in the lounge, a patio door, and that has a contact sensor on it. So when the door's closed, it's green. When the door opens, it's red. So you get an instant visibility of the status of your house. The little icon in the top right here, this wee orange one here, is denoting that in that room, there has been presence detected in that room. So that is there someone sitting in there? Are they doing something? It's different to motion though. So motion is a motion sensor that you would have in the corner of your room that is normally aligned to a security system, whereas a presence sensor can actually detect if someone's sitting still in a room. It's ultra sensitive, so it gives you that ability to have the comfort that people are being detected in the room. So you can see that's on both the lounge and the kitchen. So I've got contact sensors, presence sensors, and motion sensors in those rooms. And I also have the temperature and humidity sensors in there. So you can see at the moment I'm just pulling through the temperature sensors information across those rooms. Above that, you'll see I've got what's called family cards. And these family cards are my own custom version of this. So these are pulling in specific statuses based on the person entities within this platform. So the person entity will look at the person's status depending on where they are. So if they're at home, which they are at the moment, this icon in the top here shows it as a little icon for home, and then the color round the person card, the entity card in this case, is actually showing green. So that's matching the color of this icon here. As a person moves away from the house, or they go to other destinations and locations, other zones, etc., that may have been set up inside the platform, these statuses, the colours around the cards or the icons themselves, will update accordingly to show the individual and where they might be. So it's got the ability to look at that. Now, I can click on these icons here and it pops up an additional window which shows me more information about the person, but due to privacy, I'm not going to do that. But I'm quite happy to dive into other areas of the application so you can see it. So if we go into the lounge in this case, what you can see here is this has got more specific information. So you can see the back door is closed, so that's the patio door. If it was open, this coloured background would change to red and the text would change to white, so you could easily see and determine that. Then you can see that the presence is got people detected, and it has an orange colour associated with it. And the same goes for motion. If there was motion detected in the room, it would change to this orange color as well. You can also see the temperature and humidity sensors here. So if I click on the temperature, it pops up the temperature for the lounge, and it shows you the change and the variation as it's going across the board. Same for the humidity sensor as well. And then I have a conditional card here that basically moves from lights to speakers to allow you to get more space within your dashboard, so that you don't need to have them stacked on top of each other. So you wouldn't have lights and then the speaker down here, because you wouldn't have the space. And what I'm trying to do in a mobile dashboard is prevent people from having to scroll through this information. So if I click on the speakers, it will switch across to the speaker for this room. And again, this is a custom card that I have taken off of someone on the community, and I've tweaked it with my own preferences. So I've enlarged the size of icons, I've enlarged the text, I've enlarged the volume slider here. Again, if I click into the favorites, this is favorites is coming through from Spotify. So I've got 2 radio stations here and 2 Spotify playlists. And then there's the queue at the side here. So these are all customized to my needs, again, for the room. So I've got the ability to move between these 2 options. And you'll notice as I'm clicking between each of those, the line is changing from one side to the other to show you what side that you're actually viewing, essentially. So if we go back to the home page, again, if I do this for the kitchen, you'll see that there's more sensors in the kitchen. So there's motion being detected in the kitchen, there's presence detected in the kitchen, there's 2 doors in the kitchen, so again, they're shown here, and again, there's a sub-menu here of lights and speakers, so you can move from one to the other. So it gives you that flexibility to have the ability to see information. If we go back to the home page again, I've got a lights page. Again, this is all the lights across the house. So at the very top, I've got presence. I've got overrides to turn the lights on if I wish to, without them coming on in their automations. And then I've got the ability to flick through each of the lights across the property. I've also got the ability to look at cameras inside and out. I can also go in here and look at security, and I've got groups of sensors, contact sensors, that's like doors and window sensors. I've got motion sensors, and I've got the presence sensors as well. I have a master Sonos control here, which is a much bigger version of the one that's on the rooms themselves. And again, this has got a very similar look and feel over the room specific speaker setups as well. So again, you can see here you've got lounge, kitchen. The Sonos Move unit is in our dining room, but it's called Move here. And again, I've got the ability, similar to what I would do in a Sonos environment, I've got the ability to group speakers together and play music in simultaneous places. So it's a useful card to use. This is called this custom Sonos card, designed by a community member. It's a very, very good card. As I said, I've taken the card and tweaked it a little bit to make it suitable for my needs, should we say. I've then also got a power monitoring card, so you can see at the bottom here, I've got a lot of off-peak energy usage, which is the lighter blue colour, and then the darker blue is peak usage. So you can see at the moment we're sitting in off-peak, we're drawing 8 kilowatts of power from the grid, and you can see a split. So we just went in straight into 00 there, so we went into midnight, and we can see that the energy has reset for the next day, and we're starting to pull energy from off-peak and nothing from peak at the moment. I have an intelligent tariff in the UK from a company called Octopus, and we have 2 electric cars in the household, which allows us to charge the cars at very cheap off-peak rates. So this off-peak energy is charged at 7 pence per kilowatt hour, versus peak energy, which is about 25 pence per kilowatt hour. So you can see if you do have an electric car, it's very beneficial because it costs almost nothing to run it. So to give you an example, I had a petrol car before, and it was costing me for about 2,000 miles a month when I was doing those kind of miles a couple of years ago. It was costing me about £500 a month on petrol. And when I moved to the electric car, I could do the same amount of miles, the 2,000 miles, um, for about £50 a month. So you can see it's a huge saving. So electric cars, while they are more expensive to buy, are a lot more cheaper to run. And less likely to fall over or have an issue, because there's less complexity to go wrong. So that's the energy page. Again, I've got the ability to look at things here. I can click into the Octopus Intelligent option here, and this gives me information about Octopus Intelligent. So I can see I'm off peak at the moment. I've got an availability of 51 kilowatts, up to 51 kilowatts of energy coming into the car. And you can see down the bottom here how much is being pulled by the EV charger, how much energy is getting added today, and how much has been pulled so far today into the car, 22 kilowatt hours roughly speaking. So I can go back to my energy dashboard here. And then last but not least, on the last page here, I have an information page, which is just sort of a catch-all for anything that I haven't really, got a specific place for it to clutter up my dashboard. So I've got a sun clock here, which is pulling all the different phases of the day into 6 little cards here. So I've got dawn, sunrise, solar noon, sunset, dusk, and solar midnight. If I go into weather, this is my own weather information. So I've built what's called a template sensor, which pulls information from a centralized resource on the internet and then presents it in a 5-day calendar. So the current day plus 4 days ahead. And it pulls through an icon specific to the type of weather it is in that day, the wind speed, and a high and low temperature. And again, this is completely custom that I've designed for this dashboard. I also have an EV cars area, so I've got 2 cars in this household that are electric. So I've got an Ioniq 6 and there's a Kia EV6, and I can flick between each of those and see information specific to that car. So that's useful. I can also pull down a fresh set of attributes, so when the car is being charged, I can actually pull this information down as required. I also have this waste calendar. So I think, like many people, you may have, if you're in the UK, you have councils, and councils will give you a refuse calendar telling you when you may have your general waste getting lifted, your garden waste, plastic, cardboard, that etc. type of thing. Now I've created again another custom template sensor for this application, and there are ones on the community website, but I found them to be slightly unreliable for what I've needed. So I again built my own using my own calendar integration. So it's using a local calendar within this application. I have created a waste calendar with items in those, and then I built a template sensor to extract that information out and present it in a meaningful format. So at the moment you can see this color, this green color here, is actually denoting the color of the bin. So the general waste bin in this color is a dark green, and it's telling you when it's due for collection. So Wednesday the 29th of January, so that's next week, or this week actually, so Wednesday this week. This date down here will change automatically to say today if the event's happening on the day, tomorrow if the event's happening tomorrow, or if it's not one of those 2 items, it will actually give you the date. Now, I also have the icon updating and the color updating depending on the status of the bin. So if I click on this option, what you'll see is it expands out, and this gives you the waste upcoming collections. So you can see all these items down here are future dates when waste is going to be collected. Now you can see the icons are different here. So for garden waste, I've got a shovel. For paper and cardboard, I've got a recycling logo. For plastic waste, I've got a little bottle. And each of those colours that you see there, the grey, the brown, the green and the blue, they're the colours associated with the bins. And those are the dates when those items are going to be collected. So it's useful for you to be able to see what your next one is going to be, and then the color. So when this passes on Wednesday and this one moves into here, this color will change to brown, the icon will change, and the description will change to garden waste. So it's useful to see that information flowing through into this dashboard. Now, if you really wanted to see how this is constructed in this code to help you understand how to use this, I'm more than happy to do a follow-up video if you've got comments or questions on how this has been constructed. But it's relatively straightforward and very simple to do. So if I click on this again, it hides that information. Again, just shows me my next bin waste. And then if we go back to the home page, again, I've got the information that I showed earlier on. Now you'll notice when we started this video, we had 2 orange icons above each of those rooms. So I'm sitting in the lounge just now, but there was someone sitting in the kitchen earlier on. They're now no longer detected by the presence sensor, so the icon has went off. And it's just back to a standard kitchen card without the presence detection. I've also got garage door control, and the garage door will not open at the moment if I click this button, because there's a stipulation on the garage door that will actually only open between 8 in the morning and 10 p.m. at night. Outside of those times, it will not open at all, because there's a security stipulation on it, so it prevents the door from even being opened. It's not actuated at all, so you can see the garage door operator is off, and the garage door is locked at the moment, so it will not open during those times. I also have a stipulation in place that the garage door will not open if there's nobody at home. So if all people within the property have left the property, the door will also not open either. So you can be very granular and stipulate what you want within this platform, and that gives you a little bit of reassuredness that certain things will not happen if it's outside of those rules, should we say, security rules. So that's the dashboard as a sort of updated thing. What you're seeing here, this platform is built on a platform called Home Assistant. Now, there's countless videos and countless YouTubers out there that do things to show you how to educate yourself and build these kind of dashboards. I'm giving you my own take on things. I've trained countless people on how to use complex applications and systems in previous jobs. So I do this as a hobby. This is something I enjoy. And I'm here to educate you and show you how to get the best out of your smart home. Because at the end of the day, there's loads and loads of people out there that aren't sure about how they do things, how they could do a smart home. There's lots of companies out there that will take your money off you. But in the end of the day, if you're wanting to do something like this, come on the journey with me, ask some questions. If you've got things that you need to know or things that you're not sure about, how do you go about starting on a journey like this? Please join my channel, and we'll have a nice flexible conversation about all matters of things, on how you can get to something like this and completely tailor your smart home for your needs. You can start small and grow big. You can go straight into the deep end and invest in a lot of money and technology to bring all this together for you. But at the end of the day, it works so well as a platform. It does have a steep learning curve. It's not a kind of drag and drop type system. It does require a little bit of forethought and thinking, but it is a great platform, and it's in a really nice price point for many people. The platform itself is free, but it's the time and effort and energy that goes into designing these kind of dashboards and interfaces, and also talking to the individual systems that are in your household, your lighting, your cameras, Wi-Fi, temperature sensors, contact sensors, speakers, you name it. It's all bringing that together in one single ecosystem, so that you don't need an app from Sonos. You don't need an app from Philips to control your lighting if you're into Hue. You don't need an app from you know, from anyone really, to bring it all together. It can all be done in one place. And that saves you having all those apps on your phone. Just have one app that can be accessed anywhere in the world at any time, and you've got full visibility. And you also have the ability to automate. You've got the ability to do some fancy things along the way, like if someone was detected at your front door, you can get an alert sent to your phone, and you can action that alert and be able to do things with it, like open up a set of cameras and check who's at your door, etc. So you've got full flexibility to do that yourself. And it's absolutely fantastic. So if you really are into this and you really do want to learn more about smart homes and automations and how to do this yourself, please join me on the journey. This is Mow Talks Tech. Thanks very much, guys. Catch you in the next one.